All rise. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. This Circuit Court of the 11th Judicial Circuit in and for Miami-Dade County is now in session. The Honorable Judge Nushin Saver presiding. All persons having business before this court, come nigh and you shall be heard. God save the United States of America and this honorable court.
Thank you, Larry. Good afternoon, family, friends, guests here and in the overflow room and out there on our live stream. Welcome to the investiture of the Honorable Denise Martinez-Scanziani as Circuit Court Judge of the 11th Judicial Circuit of Florida. I can tell I like this crowd already. These are my people. We're going to have fun today, folks. All right, please remain standing as we ask three very special guests to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. The judge's children, Lucia, age 19, Luke, age 17, and Max, age 15.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done. And now, as we continue to remain standing, please welcome John Siddons, Judge Martinez-Scanziani's cousin, for the invocation.
Good afternoon. My friends, let us pray. Lord, we pray for Judge Denise, for the families that come to her for justice, fairness, and understanding. We pray also for her family, her friends, and for the associates with whom she works. In the words of the psalmist, may her wisdom be like a tree planted beside running streams, a tree that yields its fruit abundantly. For Judge Denise, those streams of living water are her fellow judges, the attorneys who come before her, her family, and her friends. Lord, we pray that Judge Denise will continually find inspiration, knowledge, and wisdom from those relationships. We pray that the supplicants who come before her will find a judge who, like a strong, healthy tree, stands firm and straight, and who dispenses justice fairly to all. In the words of St. Francis of Assisi, Lord, make Denise an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let her sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. We ask this, Lord, in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, and please, everyone, be seated. On this special day, we have some very special guests who have joined us. I'm going to ask that they please stand as I call their names so that they can be recognized. I'm going to ask not to applaud until the end, but I can already tell this crowd is going to give you some hoots and hollers. So, you know, it's a sort of a request in vain. From the Village of Key Biscayne, we have Council Member Ignacio Segurola. Thank you. From the Florida Supreme Court, our own Supreme Court Justice in Residence, he's very much now part of our 11th Judicial Circuit family, Justice John Coriel. Visiting us today from the 5th Judicial Circuit and friends with Judge Martinez-Scanziani from Judge School? From Law School, even better, Judge Jennifer Bass. Welcome. From the Coral Gables Bar Association, we have P.J. Mitchell, President, Tom Pilo, the Director, and Paul John Scanziani, I guess wearing a couple of hats today, also past President of the Coral Gables Bar Association. From the Cuban American Bar Association, we have Miriam Soler Ramos, the President. From the Florida Association of Women Lawyers, Miami-Dade Chapter, we have Marianne Ruiz. She might be here with us virtually. You can still clap. From the Miami-Dade Trial Lawyers Association, Chris Drury, the president. Might be either an overflow or a virtual. And from the Miami-Lakes Bar Association, Trinette Zarin, president, and Naib Hassan, I think I saw Naib. Travis Randolph, the perennial president of the Wilkie D. Ferguson Bar Association, with us via live stream. And Richard Cooper, our friend and the executive director of the Miami-Dade County League of Cities, also with us via live stream. If there's anyone that I forgot, please let me know. Actually, don't let me know. Let either Eunice or Ara know, and I have no doubt that my colleagues will start buzzing up my phone with the people that I left out. Also here today, we have members of our court family on here in person. Carlos Martinez, public defender. On behalf of our state attorney, Catherine Fernandez-Rundle, we have Scott Dunn. On behalf of Jean Zenobia, our regional counsel, we have Griselle Picot. And on behalf of Harvey Rubin, our clerk of courts, we have Louis Montaldo, general counsel. And finally, last but certainly not least, supporting our day-to-day court operations with their expertise and wisdom. The judiciary is nothing without them. On behalf of our administrative office of the courts, we have Mary Willie Larea. And of course, we have Nina Sigler, our public information officer, who's been, carries the load of these investitures. And now she is supported and helped by my staff, my bailiff, Larry Chester, and my little wonderkind judicial assistant, Ara Johnson. Now for remarks on behalf of the Florida Bar, we have past president, esteemed attorney, good friend of the courts. Please welcome Dory Foster Morales.
May it please the court, Chief Judge Safety, Judge Scanziani, all the judges here today, and the justice. Very pleased to be here, and it is, of course, my honor and pleasure to be here on behalf of the Florida Bar, and it's over 108,000 members. It keeps growing and growing. To become before this court on this beautiful April 1st, in this beautiful ceremonial courtroom, to bring greetings on behalf of the Florida Bar in my role as past president. Soon you'll get tired of me, there'll be another past president, hopefully. But for now, I'm always happy to be here, especially happy to be here today. And as past president of the Florida Bar, I want to personally welcome everyone who has come here today to finally congratulate and celebrate Judge Scanziani, who is finally being formally invested to the bench. I want to thank Judge Scanziani for helping to work on the backlog of the judges that need to be invested, one down, a few more to go. Obviously, she was elected in August of 2020 in the midst of a global pandemic. I still don't understand how anyone campaigned during that time, but it was really a feat of nature to do so. She has already been serving our community proudly in the very important unified family court since she took the bench in January of 2021. So we already know she's doing a fantastic job, and today is ceremonial to celebrate what she has already accomplished. And of course, it's always a pleasure to be here with all the members of the bench and the bar and the community, because we're all here really to serve the community, and look at all the great community support Judge Scanziani has. So thank you to the community. And of course to her husband, Paul, her daughter, Lucia, her son, Luke, and Max. Congratulations to you all personally. I know this is a great day for you. And of course now in this post-COVID era, or mid-COVID era, whatever part of COVID we're in the midst of right now. We also get to have everybody come virtually, and I want you to remember that if you can't appear in person, it's so nice to have this opportunity to celebrate this monumental occasion, not just in person, but through live stream. Judge Scanziani and I have really known each other for quite a while, professionally. So she's a Gator. And we have a really excited crowd, so I'm going to ask for a Go Gators. Okay, not so appropriate, but whatever. And I love that about her. And prior to taking the bench, she was a successful family lawyer. We have so many successful family lawyers here today to celebrate this occasion. She is a true expert in the area of family law, having obtained the very highest level of certification in family law in 2016. And she's currently the only board-certified marital and family lawyer on the bench in Miami-Dade County. I encourage... board certified, it really is a very difficult task, and to take that and then use your skills on the bench and to give up a lucrative practice is really a testament to who Judge Scanziani is. And I encourage all the judges here, if you're interested in becoming board certified, we'll help you get there. We think it's a great thing. Take the board cert class. I teach it mostly, so it's a great thing to do. And I know that her certification is going to bring a great service to all who appear before her. And to her colleagues, who I'm sure she already is providing insight to from her perspective, as you all share those perspectives. I've known her husband, Paul, the first man today, because he too, like me, has focused so much of his professional efforts on bar activities, having been president of my local bar association, the Coral Gables Bar. So it's really a family of public service. And most of you who have heard me speak, some of you have heard me speak, our community is one of, 2 degrees of separation. We all are so connected here. It's one of the great things that I love about Miami-Dade County. My connection really became more personal to Judge Scanziani in this, I believe it was the summer of 2018. I was busy trying to solidify my position as the next president-elect of the Florida Bar, so I was working the rooms at the Florida Bar Convention in June of 2018. When my son, PJ, 15, not quite 16, was traveling the world with Belen Jesuit. He has a great life, that kid. And he's currently in New Orleans, about to sit on the floor of the Duke UNC game to cover it. So he's had quite a life. But I always worry. I'm a worrier, right? Are you guys worriers about your kids? We all worry. And so he wasn't even 16 yet, and he was going on this trip without me, the evil eye. He calls me the, I won't tell you what he calls me, but I keep an eye on that kid. And I was really worried he was going to be going on this trip, and yeah, Belen, I'll keep an eye on him, but there are a lot of boys out there, and those boys get into trouble. So I get to the airport early to drop him off at the airport, to watch him, descend the runway, wave goodbye, tear in my eye. But before that happened, I happened to run into Judge Scanziani. And she was going on the trip with her children. And I'm not sure, Lucio, were you on the trip? No. So the boys were on the trip, and I immediately knew that I found a mama in charge to keep her evil eye on Peach and make sure he didn't get into any trouble. And Judge Scanziani was up to this task. We immediately exchanged the ever-important cell phone number so we could text back and forth. And during those 2 weeks, she provided me with regular updates and photographs of the comings and goings of my son, much to his chagrin. But she was so true to her word. She was really true to her word. She kept her ears and eyes out for Peach. She made me feel comfortable that he was safe and protected. And I really always appreciated that, and thank you so much for that. And I knew that my son was in good hands, both with Belen and Judge Scanziani, because she really understood that mama code. And I know that the families of Miami-Dade County will also get that mama code from her. Not only is she bright and intelligent, but she has that heart, and we know that no child will be left behind in the family court that she now presides. And she so deservingly has so much support in the community, a community really all that can be very proud today. So in closing, again, on behalf of all the members of the Florida Bar, congratulations. Thank you for allowing me to speak on this very special day. I look forward to continue to watch you assist all of the families and all of the people of Miami-Dade County, and the Florida Bar beams with pride today.
A couple of more VIPs. I see back there hiding Javi Le Soto, who's the General Counsel of Miami-Dade College. And front and center, we have retired GM from the Family Division, Bob Singer. For what it's worth, I can see the look on his face. He did not ask to be recognized. I noticed him and felt that he was deserving of recognition. So, all right. And now, for remarks on behalf of the Miami-Dade Bar Association, please welcome Attorney Vanessa Vasquez de Lara, who's the Solo and Small Firm Committee Vice Chair.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Vanessa Vasquez de Lara, and just like Judge Martinez-Scanziani used to be, I'm a family attorney, so a shout out to my people back there. I'm here representing the Miami-Dade Bar. I've known Judge Martinez-Scanziani for almost a decade. Our children used to go to school together, and I might have never known that, except that, like everything, when you see somebody, we got a case against each other. So if you ever knew Judge Martinez-Scanziani as a litigator, you know that she was a very zealous advocate. Although I didn't last long in that case, it lasted long enough to eventually give me an amazing friendship with a stellar person. Judge Martinez-Scanziani has wanted to serve her community as a judge for as long as I've known her. To know her is to know the kind of person that we all aspire to have on the bench. She's patient with legal problems. I know because I used to call her with so many of my cases just to get her perspective and her advice. She knows all the rules, and can cite them back to you. I know because I'd often use her as a reference when I needed to figure out what applied in a motion that I was writing. She knows her writing is eloquent and precise when dissecting cases. I know because she won multiple appeals for my clients who deserved something different than what they got. She sees the people behind the cases, not just as clients or litigants, but as families that need help that she can provide. I know because of her work as a guardian ad litem. She's creative in her problem solving within the legal framework. I know because she mediated my cases. I really miss you for that. And settled every single one. I miss having her in the family law trenches. But all of the skills that made her such an excellent attorney would make her such a perfect judge. I've had the pleasure of watching her in court, and it's obvious that she was born to do this. I can't wait to see all of the good that she does for our community. She reminded all of us on the campaign alongside her that judges are the elected official that you're most likely to see. They're the ones that you're most likely to interact with if you're a member of the community. Whether it's a divorce, a foreclosure, or a car accident, the public is most likely to see a judge before anybody else. Probably most of you don't know who your state rep is, or the mayor of any given city. I think we should all know who our governor is. But that's why it's so important to make sure that we have great people on the bench. So I want to say congratulations to Judge Martinez-Scanziani for her investiture today. As part of our Miami-Dade community, I am thrilled that we have elected someone with a great legal mind who is experienced, respectful of the law, and passionate for justice. May God bless Judge Martinez-Scanziani and all of our judiciary. On behalf of the Miami-Dade Bar, I'm honored to bestow this Bible to Judge Denise Martinez-Scanziani.
Some more gifts for Judge Martinez-Scanziani to commemorate the special day. The long-awaited, you've been waiting over a year for this, the desk plaque from the Conference of Supreme Court Judges. And for your shelves, a plaque from the American Board of Trial Attorneys, the Miami-Dade chapter, ABOTA, and also from the Cuban American Bar Association, a beautiful plaque for your wall. And now for personal remarks on behalf of the judge's family and friends, we have Celia Roca, the judge's cousin.
Good afternoon, Chief Judge, judges, special guests, friends and family. My name is Celia Roca, and I am the proud cousin of the Honorable Denise Martinez-Scanziani. It is truly an honor to be here and speak on behalf of my family and friends who love and admire Denise. Even though we're first cousins, I'm quite a bit older than her. Hence, I've always seen her as another daughter, especially when she was little. Now I see her as a role model, and I go to her for guidance in many circumstances. Since she was little, Denise has demonstrated to be a person of true character. Besides being smart, she's very smart, she has always been very caring of others and very involved in social justice. She was always looking out for those less fortunate, even though she wasn't born with a silver spoon in her mouth. For those of you who don't know, Denise is the oldest of 5 children: Eileen, Yvette, Carlos, and Michelle. Hi guys. Carlos is in Okinawa. So now 5 children is a lot of mouths to feed and take care of. That's a hefty bunch of kids. And given their modest financial circumstances, there was always a need to be met at home. Yet, Denise always found ways to help others. She also appreciated everything family members would do for her and her family with grace and wisdom beyond her years. Denise's family didn't have much. They couldn't afford vacations, eating out, movies, etc., all those extras. So my sister Olga Siddons, who is here with us and is also Denise's godmother, and I, who, again, being older, would take turns taking Denise and her siblings on outings, vacation, trips, etc. So I got to enjoy Denise's character and personality from a very young age. So with that background, let me tell you just a little story. It's okay, nothing bad. It's okay. I'll never forget a ski trip my family and I took to Salt Lake City, Utah during the holidays and Christmas in December to celebrate New Year's Eve. And I took Denise with us, who, by the way, had never seen snow, much less skied. We had rented a couple of townhouses with friends and family, and as it was getting closer to midnight, I wanted to gather all my chickadoos and make sure that we're all together for, to ring in the new year. Well, I couldn't find Denise. So I went to her room, and there she was, snuggled comfortably in her bed, reading a book. There were no iPads or cell phones or tablets or none of that, by the way. So I asked her, hey, do you want to join the rowdy crowd? We're all Cuban. And she politely said, no thanks. I'm good here reading this book. This is a great book. I thought to myself, oh, this girl's going places. For sure, for sure. Well, I went back to her room right before midnight to make sure she had all the necessary and required items, the 12 grapes, the cider. Let's just say we're also superstitious and like to carry on traditions. So, I wanted her to ring in the new year. Denise showed her intelligence and independence early on. You could always find her reading, like I said, studying, simply trying something new. Another thing about Denise, she's always been great at being a mediator among family members, disputes and arguments, from the little to the big. Always being fair and just, that's just who she is. You could tell early on she was going to be a lawyer, a judge, a leader. She's just always eager to solve problems. I admire her determination and will in all that she sets her mind to do. No matter what obstacles or challenges Denise is faced with, which at times have been plenty, she moves forward with strength and fortitude to accomplish the task at hand, or better yet, the dream. She is the poster child for perseverance. So proud of who Denise is and what she has become. When she was admitted to the bar, I'll never forget she told her mom, and may she rest in peace, and I know she's proudly looking down at her beautiful daughter with pride and joy, that now that she had her degree, she wanted to go teach. That's another of her passion, she wanted to teach at Monsignor Edward Pace High School, my daughter's alma mater, and I'm the current director of development there. Go Spartans, yes, go Spartans. Well, I thought, what in the world are you going to do teaching when you have a law degree? Again, she graciously answered me, I want to teach young minds. I want to ignite their passion. And she did just that for several years. And it truly fills my heart with joy when I hear some of her former students tell me she was the best teacher they had, and they are where they are today because of her. Talk about a proud moment. A few years after being in the education system, she returned to law, her true passion, I believe. After practicing law for a few years, she pursued her dream of becoming a judge. Now this is where I thought she should be from day one. And here we are. I've always supported her because I believe in her. And believe me, I've done my share of campaigning, even through COVID. But it's all been worth it. Denise, you are smart, strong, empathetic, caring, loyal, beautiful woman, inside and out. But most importantly, you have the biggest and most wonderful, compassionate heart. I am so proud and honored to call you my cousin, and may God bless you in your path as you undertake this very important job of being the best judge in the world. I love you deeply. God bless.
Thank you so much, Cousin Celia. And now for further remarks on behalf of the judge's family and friends, please welcome Paul John Scanziani, the judge's
May it please the court, Chief Judge, Judiciary, distinguished guests. Investitures are great because you get to know the person inside the road. I tried to get out of speaking today, not because today is not important or not because I didn't want to, it's because I know my wife too well. We met at a high school graduation party 29 years ago. We both went to Colgate Senior High. The first week that I met Denise, one of her friends invited me to a pool party that she was going to be attending. And from what I remember from that pool party is Denise's shoulders. It's kind of a weird thing to remember your shoulders of your future wife. But Denise was wearing a bathing suit where I think the shoulders was the only part of her skin that I could see. So, however, it worked. I was intrigued. So it was the most un-Miami bathing suit you've ever seen. But anyway, we both ended up going to the University of Florida. We're proud double Gators. At UF, we matured together, we struggled together. I still remember part of the time we were in Gainesville, we lived in married housing, and I still wish we had that 1,100 square feet, 2-bedroom apartment that came with light, cable, and phone for $240 a month. Denise was always A+ or high honors or honors student while in school. In undergrad, one of her part-time jobs was A+ notes. So she'd take notes, and she did very well in school, and she would sell them to a company that would sell it to students like me that didn't get all those kind of things. So that was Denise in a nutshell right there. During law school, I would go with her to these big law firm recruiting pitches, and they would offer summer clerkships, some of them paying up to $1,500 a week. And I said, man, I hit the jackpot. She's smart, she's pretty, and she's going to make 6 figures right out the gate. Denise did 1 summer for the state attorney's office, 1 summer with the public defender's office, both unpaid. And then her first job out of law school was legal aid for $30,000 a year. That's Denise. What's Denise like as a person? I have rules that in this speech that I would be coerced to speak, but I'm not allowed to make fun of Denise, and I'm also not allowed to make this about me. I find this extremely hard because some of Denise's best qualities I find extremely frustrating at times. As a wife, she's the yin to my yang. She's comfortable either front, at my side, or supporting me. As a mother, she is loving and selfless. Qualities she gets from her mother, and she rests in peace. To illustrate Denise's best attributes, I will describe how I see them in our children. Lucia has her mother's passion for justice and gives the best of herself to others. Injustice will not be tolerated, consequences be damned. When Lucia was in 1st grade, she started school, and I'm type A, prepared the pencil pouch for my daughter. She's my oldest child. And there's 20 pencils there, they're perfectly sharpened with a little eraser cap on top of them. You send your daughter off to school, first grade, and then she'd come back and she'd have like a 2-inch pencil with no eraser. And I'd say, that's odd. Okay, I'd create the pencil pouch again, 20 brand new pencils, perfectly sharpened erasers. Same thing, this one's like 1 inch long instead of smaller than a golf pencil. And I'm trying to talk to my daughter and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. After 2 weeks, I had to set up a meeting with the first grade teacher, and I said, look, here's cash, here's a box of pencils. I need my daughter to have a pencil at school. So I'm forbidding her from giving away her pencils. If you need a pencil, here's cash, a box of pencils. If you need pencils, I will give you more pencils, but don't let her give her pencils away. Denise is the type of person that she doesn't give you a pencil. She doesn't give you her best pencil, she gives you all her pencils. And her daughter picked up those traits. Our son Luke has Denise's warmth and happiness. One time, someone was rude to Denise, and I was next to her, and I wanted to go Will Smith on the person. Denise simply put her hand on my shoulder and handled it politely and professionally. One time I wasn't there, Denise told me a story of how a man told her, how good of an attorney can you be? You're a woman, you're a wife, you're a mother. And I could just see Denise smiling and saying, you will find out. From Max, he gets his mother's enthusiasm to meet and interact with as many people as possible. Max, just like Denise, you're in the line at the supermarket, the grocery store, and he's introducing himself to the person behind you or in front of you. We took him to buy a car one time with us, and he starts shaking the hand of the person selling the car, and he's like, so how did you get into the car, the car? He just has this knack for loving people and just interacting with someone that he might never ever speak to again. What's Denise like as a lawyer? Denise is a board-certified specialist. She's an expert in the area of the law, just like a fellow double-gator, Dory Foster Morales. Dory used her expertise to become a former Florida Bar president. Denise chose to be a judge. Often, more than once, it surprised me. I'd leave the courthouse, or before COVID, I'd be getting my car from LA, parking across the street, which, hope it comes back once we get back to normal. Judges would tell me, hey, tell Denise thanks for that case she sent me about that legal issue that I talked to her about, or oh, thank you for sounding off on that legal issue that I was having trouble with. Denise was a phone a friend to many, not just lawyers. I wouldn't describe Denise as a nerd, but she is an academic. We would take our road trips to a Gator football game or wherever we were going, and she's taking the Florida Law Weekly with her, and she's not only reviewing cases in her area of the law, or telling me about cases in my area of the law, she's telling me about this case. Look at this case, it's very interesting. It has nothing to do with anything we're ever going to do, but let me tell you about it because it's very interesting. I think as Vanessa was speaking, talking about Denise knowing all the rules, sometimes I would win motions, be happy that I won my hearing, whatever it would be, and then Denise would come home, Denise would be there and say, well, that's against the rules for procedure. You should have done this. And I said, well, I didn't know that, the counsel didn't know that, and the judge didn't know that, so we're going to take the win. Denise also especially loved appeals, not for the ego boost, but for the law being followed. She believes the law should be followed as written and applied to everyone equally. What you should know about Denise is that Denise is an exceptional person that was born and raised in Miami. She's wicked smart and really has the interests of those that come before her ahead of her own interests. We're all lucky to have her.
And now for the oath of office and robing, I would like to ask our very own Circuit Court Judge and Associate Administrative Judge of the Unified Children's Court, Marcia Caballero, to join Judge Martinez-Scanziani and her family at the podium. Welcome back up, husband Paul and kids Lucia, Luke, and Max.
Very important. Do you want me to stand in a horseshoe? I have a spot that I need to stand on, but with the indulgence of the Chief Judge, I'd just like to make just a brief comments about Judge Denise Martinez-Scanziani. I had the privilege of meeting her on my campaign trail 14 years ago. And as many people who run for office know and can tell you, you get to know other candidates when you're on the campaign trail very well. And I got to know her and Paul and her children who were much, much younger then, and her beautiful mom, may she rest in peace. And I echo the sentiments of her cousin, of Dory and Paul, as to her brilliance, her intelligence, her ability to help everyone who has the need. She's there, she's always there to support and to help everyone. She has been serving in Unified Children's Courthouse for the last year and a few months. And she has done an outstanding job serving the most vulnerable people, the most vulnerable children of our society. So she is doing a great service. She chose to be there, she wanted to be there. So that's who she is. That's the kind of person that she is. So it's my great honor to be able, she asked me to swear her in, and I cannot be more grateful to her because it's a tremendous honor to be here with all of you today to live this moment with her. So, and I know your mom is smiling and rejoicing in heaven as you have taken this big step and achieved this dream. Yes, I have to find my mark. There I am. Roll her.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. How does this work? Oath first and row back.
Thank you. Let me see if I can not. I did it just in case. I don't know I could. Here we go. You ready? I state your name.
I, Denise Martinez-Scanziani,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States of America
the Constitution and government of the United States of America
and of the state of Florida.
and of the state of Florida,
That I am qualified to hold office
that I am qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state of Florida,
under the Constitution of the state of Florida,
and that I will well and faithfully perform
and that I will well and faithfully perform
the duties of Judge of the Circuit Court
the duties of Judge of the Circuit Court
of the 11th Judicial Circuit of the state of Florida,
of the 11th Judicial Circuit of the state of Florida,
on which I am now about to enter.
on which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Everyone please be seated.
All righty. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I was told I have a full hour for my personal remarks. So sit back, relax. Just kidding, it's actually April Fool's. So April Fool's. As I started getting text messages this morning, some friends that wanted to be here and couldn't be here, I said, you know what? I think would be an excellent April Fool's prank if I just did not show up. I'll see you all at the reception, which you are all wholeheartedly invited to join us right after, because it is April Fool's. And hold on, I need my glasses. Because I am, 47.
You gotta learn to make bigger font letters.
I did. So I thought about winging this, and I said, I'm going to forget something. I also thought about bullet points, and I said, I'm going to ramble. So if you'll indulge me, I did write out some words that I wanted to share. I actually chose April 1st specifically. It is April Fool's. And some friends asked me, are you sure? Like, that's kind of like weird. I don't know, you know. But quite honestly, I could not think of a better day. I still have to pinch myself to remember that this is real, that this is not some elaborate practical joke or dream where I get to put on this robe and get to do this thing I love. Serve Miami-Dade County as a circuit court judge. What a privilege to be able to actually live my dream. And it is a dream. And that is certainly one benefit of a delayed investiture, I must say. As you all know, I took the bench last year, and so I've had a year under my belt, and I can say with absolute confidence and certainty that this is a privilege, and I am living my dream, and I can promise I will never take it for granted. With a delayed investiture, I can also give thanks to those who have made my first year an unforgettable one. I will not call you out specifically by name, but I will reference you because I will forget someone, and that's not my intent. So thank you to my administrative judge and my associate administrative judges, my children's courthouse colleagues, the GMs, my judicial assistant, my bailiff, who is actually now left me to go play professional football in Japan, professional American football in Japan, go figure, but anyway, so I'm looking for a bailiff. The clerks, the interpreters, the court case managers, the agency case managers, court liaisons, guardians, and everyone who is dedicated to children and their welfare. What an incredible and rewarding year it has been. And thank you to the Division II attorneys. I see many of you here today. From CLS to the Guardian Program to Regional Counsel, to the Dependency Wheel attorneys, to the Assistant State attorneys and public defenders and volunteer attorneys at LIDEM. You have kept me on my toes, and your dedication does not go unnoticed. It is truly a privilege to have you before me. As a little girl, when I was asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I never answered princess or movie star. I always said a judge or a teacher. I'm not sure where that came from, but I was steadfast in my answer, always responding the same way. It's a strange thing to be so young and so determined in your desire, but there it was now, and here I am. And here we are. What an incredible personal journey. You have already heard a little bit about me from the speakers and my husband. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. About who I am and where I come from. It is clear to me that to really see and understand the glory, and this is a glorious moment for me, you need to know the story. So here's my story, and I do promise to stay within my allotted time, Chief, and if I need to wrap it up, start playing music, and we can just, get me on. So here's my story. I am the eldest of 5 children, born to Cuban immigrant parents. We did not have a lot. At times, we did not have much at all. I won't go into all of the details, but I will say that but for the kindness and generosity of family, we could have easily gone without food, without light, without shelter. And at times, it was a very close call. It truly takes a village, and my extended family of grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins made up that incredible village. To you, I am forever grateful. As the eldest, I was usually in charge of my siblings, all of us being latchkey kids. If you all remember latchkey kids, I don't know, we have to come home after school with our own keys and let ourselves in at home. My mother working countless hours trying to get as much overtime as she could, which left us to our own devices quite a bit. My siblings, one of whom is here, would tell you I was bossy by nature, a born lawyer, born to be a judge, but I would argue my bossiness was by circumstance, truly. Perhaps I did enjoy it a little bit more than I should, but I did have to grow up fast, be responsible for my younger siblings and for myself, and never, ever, 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 ever disappoint our mother. Seeing her sacrifices for those whom she loved and even for those whom she barely knew, she was the epitome of unconditional and sacrificial love. And that was the best form of discipline, really. She rarely had to threaten with la chancleta. No withholding of privileges. It was just the sheer fear of disappointing our mother that kept us in line. So as a family of very modest means, I am a product of public school education. I attended Springview Elementary, Glades Middle School, and Coral Gables Senior High, where I was able to attend as a transfer to the International Baccalaureate program. To this day, I am so grateful for the rigorous curriculum and demanding teachers of the IB program. And I know I have Becky, I have Lourdes, I have some of my high school friends are here and watching and via live stream. You know, they taught us, they were so demanding, and they really honed my skills. And those extra college credits before dual enrollment was a thing did not hurt as a first-generation college student. So I thank all of those teachers. Thank you so much. I was, my husband said, not a nerd, so I'm going to call it academically inclined, okay? I really loved school. I really loved to read. It was an escape for me in many ways. And again, the sheer fear of disappointing my mother kept me focused on school. She made it clear to all of her children, education is the key and you need it to advance. You need it for a better future. We all took those words to heart and did what we needed to do. There was no option. I went away to college. Yes, I went to Gainesville. And this is my day, so everyone's going to smile nicely. Go Gators, right? This was a big deal for my huge extended Cuban family. What do you mean you're going away to college? What do you mean you're not staying here in Miami where we can see you and watch you and chaperone you and do all these things? But I did it. I was the first to do it. And later my cousins followed, so I kind of helped them break the ice. I'm very proud to be a Gator, a double Gator, and I enjoyed it very, very much. Eventually, I made it to law school. Again, I did well academically. It was already ingrained in me, and so when I got to law school, this was more school, more reading, more writing, as we all know, and I really enjoyed it, at least my first year. So there's a little known fact about me, and I'm surprised no one mentioned it directly, so I'll take this opportunity now. After my first year of law school, I'm not trying to brag, but I just want you to look at the picture here. I almost had straight A's, first year of law school. And I said, I think I'm gonna quit. I almost quit law school after my first year. Now, it wasn't because I wasn't doing well, and it wasn't because I didn't enjoy the academic aspect of it. It was because I got a taste for the business of being a lawyer, and it just I didn't think that it was my cup of tea. I believed in justice, passionate about it really, but the idealism that I held about being a lawyer, a seeker of truth and justice, wasn't quite conforming with my exposure to the actual work of being a lawyer at that time. So I decided I wanted to be a teacher. I called my mom, and I spoke to my husband, and I told them of my decision. I'm sure you can all guess how that conversation went. But my mother, in her infinite wisdom, ultimately persuaded me, telling me, Denisita, la educación no ocupa espacio, which means education doesn't take up space. You finish the most difficult year, finish law school, and then you can be a teacher. So it seemed logical, and she was not actually too difficult for me because I really didn't want to quit, but I felt like I was wasting my time. I wasn't going to be a lawyer, certainly not a judge, but I finished law school, and that was thank you to my mom's persuasion and my husband. They persuaded me. I won't call it that they strong-armed me. They persuaded me. And now here's where the rubber meets the road. I had a law degree and admission to the bar, and so now what? Well, I found the perfect way to marry my passion to justice and this freshly minted law license. I declined a private firm job, much to my husband's dismay at the time. I chose to work for legal aid, and he was dismayed not because he doesn't believe in service, but student loans. So, but it was so worth it, and it was a priceless experience for me. I became a staff attorney for the Senior Citizen Law Project of Legal Aid in Broward County, and I represented the most vulnerable populations. I gave them access to justice. This guided my career choices from that moment forward. It is such an integral part of who I am today. So Tony, the newly retired director, and Barbara, my then supervising attorney, who are watching via live stream, hello, and my former colleagues and friends from there, thank you for the opportunities you gave me and for the indelible mark you left on me. I did, when I left legal aid, I did take a short stint in a collaboration with someone you may know, maybe you've heard of, Vicky Del Pino. Judge Vicky Del Pino was actually my first law partner, collaborator. And we were both babies. And that was my first taste of running my own business. And I just said, I just don't feel it. I don't think this is what I need to be doing. So the idea of being a teacher was never far from my heart, and I could never quite shake that desire. So I was blessed with the amazing opportunity to teach at Monsignor Pace High School, even though I was a lawyer, not a teacher. I taught a variety of subjects, law studies being one of them. And years later, after I stopped teaching, I would run into some of my former students in court, as I'm a lawyer, and I would look at them, and I said, hold on a second. I am not old enough for you to be a lawyer. Get out of here. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. I don't know if anyone is here today from that time. I know I thought, there, Annette. There you go. We actually co-counseled a trial together. What a privilege. One of my former high school students. And it was that moment where you got to see that you were able to sow something into somebody and see it give fruit and blossom. They got the first taste of law from me. What a privilege to see that. And to this day, I look back on those years with such fondness. So to my Pace family, especially my former students, the principal, Anna Garcia, and the dedicated teachers and former colleagues who continue to shape young minds, thank you. You are so appreciated, and I wouldn't be who I am without my time with you. I was really happy as a teacher, and I was comfortable doing what I loved. It was rewarding, and it was my dream, but if you recall, it wasn't my only dream. Remember I said I want to be a teacher or a judge. So by this time, I had 2 children, and I was very much enjoying teaching. I really took to it. Enter stage right, my mother. My mother knew me so well. She remembered my dream of becoming a judge, and she knew I could and would find my place as a lawyer in a way that truly satisfied me. She was happy if I was happy, but she never wanted me to give up on any of my dreams. She believed I could do it all, so my mother, with her gentle persuasion and motherly reasonableness, nudged me, quite smartly, telling me, you know, Denisita, I'm a realtor now, and I could really use your help as an attorney. Fast forward, and the next thing I knew, I had transitioned into being a full-time attorney once again. This time I started my own firm, on my own terms, initially working out of my home with my 2 small children running underfoot. Max, you weren't there yet. Through the years, helping families, providing pro bono representation, serving as a guardian ad litem and mediator, the practice grew into what it eventually evolved, a marital and family law trial and appellate firm, of which I could be proud. It was the road I had to travel to get here. So to the family bar, my former associates and staff, my former colleagues, my friends, whether as opposing counsel, co-counsel, or just sounding boards, you made me a better lawyer. And that is part of who I am today, so thank you. To the family judges, my now colleagues, and the GMs, before whom I appeared as a lawyer, even when you ruled against me and you forced me to take you up on appeal, except you, I could never get you reversed, Robert St. And to the appellate judges I practiced before, I learned so much from each of you. Thank you. So now you may be asking, how did this whole judge thing come about? And I can't really talk about my decision, my election, without talking about the times I didn't get elected. Some may view those non-elections, let's call them non-elections, as losses. I took them as opportunities to learn, to grow, and to persevere. In the words of Winston Churchill, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And that's what I did. I continued, I persevered. Campaigning countywide for a nonpartisan office in a county with as many residents as some small states with a gag over your mouth is not for the faint of heart. I know some of you can very personally attest to that. 3 times I campaigned, 3 times my family and friends sacrificed, but 3 times I grew and learned so much. In 2020, I decided it was time to try again. It was my dream as a little girl, and now as a grown woman, I am not one to be easily discouraged or be satisfied with settling. So I decided it's time. When I spoke to my husband about his thoughts, he was super excited. No, he was not. I won't tell you that he said, what he actually said was, "Are you out of your mind? There's a worldwide pandemic. It's April. Your firm is thriving. Are you out of your mind?" But yes, he did say just that. And yet ever the one to believe in me and be supportive of my dreams. Selflessly, he came around and got behind me 100%. And honey, I am so grateful that you did, because without your support, love, and encouragement, there's no way I would be standing here today. And in the words of Nelson Mandela, it always seems impossible until it is done. So it would appear for me that the third time was the charm. Now to the thank yous. I have so many people to thank, and I do not have the time. I see she's reaching for her music to start playing the music together. But I have to name a few. First, to my Heavenly Father, God, thank you for the plans you have for me, and thank you that your timing is absolutely perfect. To the voters, this is such a diverse and dynamic county, and to each and every one of the voters who cast that ballot in my name, thank you. I quite literally could not be here without you. Thank you for your support. Gracias por su apoyo. Merci beaucoup. To my campaign family, this truly was a grassroots effort. In the middle of COVID and a county-wide campaign, trying to get that message out, I could not have done it without the help and support and encouragement and sweat of so many who believed in me and my candidacy. To my military strategist, every volunteer, family member, friend, campaign worker, supporter, advisor, attorney, and citizen who made phone calls, shared social media, held up signs, passed out palm cards, simply got the word out and voted. Thank you. To everyone today here, chief, colleague, family, friends, sharing and celebrating with me, I am overwhelmed by your support. I actually looked at the RSVP list and just started crying because I was that overwhelmed and touched. I look out and see a representation of every stage of my life, and that is incredible. To all of those who called and messaged when I threw my hat in the ring, thank you. To my yayas, you know who you are. You've been on this journey with me longer than most. We did it. Thank you. To the Three Musketeers, or is it the Three Stooges? I'm not going to clarify. You also know who you are. Thank you. To those especially who took my calls on the daily at all times of the day during the campaign, thank you for the therapy. You kept me sane through it all. Thank you. To my friend from Miami High, thank you. To the diverse communities who granted me access in the organizations, including the voluntary bar associations who hosted different forums and listened, thank you. To SAVE, in particular Orlando and Justin and the interview board, thank you. To the attorneys, officials, especially rep, and professionals who made it clear from day one they were behind me, thank you. To my church family, your prayers are everything, thank you. To my circle of trust, my besties, you know who you are. I love you and tell you often, I couldn't do this without you, thank you. To my friends from every part of my life, elementary, high school, college, law school, Jennifer, all the way down from Ocala, which is, by the way, south of Gainesville, which is where the University of Florida resides. Go Gators. To be here with us, thank you. To today's speakers who shared their personal remarks, John, Dory, Vanessa, Celia, and Judge Marcia Caballero, thank you for being here, for your kindness, and for speaking on my behalf today. To my mother and father-in-law who shared, you made the decision to relocate from New York to Florida in 1991. A huge thank you for bringing your son to my area code. And throughout the years, your support has been so necessary and appreciated. To my extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, second cousins, third cousins, madrina, padrino, who never one time ever said, "Really, Denise, again?" When I told them I was running, you simply took it in stride and got to work. And mi prima, who was never too tired to pick up my calls and showed me all the signs that this was my time, thank you. To my father and his partner, Maria Eugenia, you were instrumental in this campaign. I cannot express just how instrumental you were. From phone calls to standing outside in the summer heat, you never faltered and wavered in your support and encouragement. You believed in me and continue to do so. I feel your love and your pride in me always. Thank you. To my siblings, in age order so no one gets jealous. Eileen, Yvette, Carlos, and Michelle. Eileen is in North Carolina. Yvette's in St. Louis, Missouri. My brother's in Okinawa doing a job that he told me if he told me he'd have to kill me. So I have no idea what he does in Japan. And then I have my little sister here who's also a lawyer. Mom always said that the 5 of us together are the fingers that form a hand. They translate in Spanish, dedos. There's no thumb in Spanish. I'm not sure which one of us is the thumb, but the analogy is there. We are stronger together. And even though you live in North Carolina, Missouri, and Japan, respectively, know that truer words were never spoken. You are the best siblings and friends I could ever hope for. To their spouses and partner, you are family. And to my nieces and nephews, Amelia, Elise, Kai, Gael, Mia, Gavin, Aiden, Tristan, and Addison. I know I'm your favorite aunt, but I'm saying it here today just so everyone else knows, right? Okay, so now, to my mother. So you may have noticed a common theme throughout these remarks, and that is the constant presence of my mother, in one way or another. My mother, Esperanza Garcia Loinas. My biggest cheerleader, influencer, advisor, guide, sounding board, and friend, is no longer physically here with us. She passed away in 2018, and her presence is still greatly missed. She zealously campaigned for me the first 2 times, handing out cards, making phone calls, wearing t-shirts, whatever was needed she just did it. For the third campaign, she was not physically with me, but I know she was with me every step of the way, just as she is here today, with me. She's in my memories, in my heart, and in my words. She encourages me even today. She looks down upon me with a knowing smile because she always believed enough for both of us. So if you like me, even just a little bit, please know that it is because of her. To my children, Lucia, you are strong-willed, logical, and fiercely independent, and empathetic with a huge heart and passion for justice. She is the defender of all. I can't wait to see what lies ahead for you. I love you. Luke, my big-hearted, sweet, gentle soul, you'll be leaving home soon to Gainesville to start your own journey. I am proud of you and am excited for what is in store. I love you. Max, my little one, from a young age, you said you would be president of the United States. And you also said you will attend Stanford University, and University of Florida can be your backup. You are confident, charming, and loving. I know you will keep making good choices. I believe in you. I love you. To all my children, I know the sacrifices you made, and I know it wasn't always easy. Thank you for believing in me and supporting me every step of the way. And it's especially good when they have driver's licenses and they can drive themselves to different polls and campaign for you if ever necessary. But yeah, that's a little side note. If you can take away one lesson from me, let it be this. If you truly believe in something, persevere. Nothing is impossible for you. To my husband, my best friend, my partner in life, we were just babies when we met. We started dating in high school, and throughout the years, instead of growing apart, we really grew up together. From high school sweethearts to middle-aged married couple, the past 3 decades have brought us to today. I love our life. Thank you for always believing in me, even when you initially think I'm crazy, and even if it means sitting holding a campaign sign in the pouring rain in Miami Lakes without any shelter. The best thing in life is finding someone who knows all of your mistakes and weaknesses and still thinks you're completely amazing. You are that person for me. Thank you for prioritizing our family and for the incredible father and husband that you are. I would not want to do this life with anyone else. I love you. And to settle an old debate in our household. I'm going to say this here today once and never admit it again. Yes, I did approach you when we first met. Yes, I did ask about you. And yes, I did have my friends invite you to parties so I could make my move. I've never admitted that, but now Now, there you have it. After all, a smart woman knows what she wants and goes after it. Isn't that what brought us all here today? Finally, let me leave you with this. What became my own mantra during the campaign, I created a playlist and just songs that would inspire me and move me. The quote is this: if you feel insignificant, you better think again. Better wake up, because you're part of something way bigger. I won't sing it, but if my opera singing sister Yvette were here, I'd make her do it. Because yes, those are the words of Beyonce. And yes, these are the lyrics from the song Bigger in The Lion King. But truer words were never spoken. You've heard my story, but we are all part of something bigger, and we are all the authors of our own story. Just please never give up on writing it. Thank you.
That was a great speech, and I'm not going to lie, the whole time you were speaking and you were saying all these beautiful things, I kept thinking, what's her version of the pool party bathing suit in the shoulders story? So I'm really glad that you ended and got to hear the flip side of that. So I also, like Judge Martinez-Scanziani, started in the children's court, and it's a place where you always leave a little piece of your heart and your soul. The good news is I still have some connections there. So I'm still in touch with a lot of people there, and what I've heard from the very beginning, and one of the things I mentioned to Judge Martinez-Scanziani earlier in the week when we spoke, was that I've heard that she's been doing a good job since she hit the bench. And it's particularly challenging during the time of COVID to learn how to be a judge, learn how to be a lawyer on a Zoom screen is not easy, and so many young lawyers have done it, so many of my judges have done it. I'm so proud of all of them for doing that. But if you're going to take this job on, it's not just about dreaming to do the job, it's about being able to do it and doing it well, and she's been doing it really well. She's been working really hard, and she's gotten really high marks from all my spies at the Children's Courthouse. So with that, welcome to the bench, Judge Martinez-Scanziani. Your colleagues are thrilled to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the 11th Judicial Circuit of Florida, court is now in recess. If you would like to greet the judge and her family, please come forward and to your right. And that's it.